Ingram, you and I have been going into that stadium for a long time. Saturday night was electric. 7-0, this football team now. And there are good players everywhere. And I know you're modest and you don't like to talk about the role necessarily, or at least not bang the drum over and over again about the role that the Battle's End plays. But I think everybody knows it's obvious when you look out there and you see the guys that make the difference in these games. Battlesend.com, everybody. What's it mean for you guys right now, 7-0? I want to get straight to it. And I'm just going to say, I think we're about to see a real battle in the state again. Unfortunately, Miami knocked off Clemson. They may have some footing here in recruiting. Florida, with the comeback a couple weeks ago against South Carolina, probably going to at least be 6-6, 7-5. Maybe they get some footing. The battles for recruits and for players out of the portal, et cetera, I think it's about to reach a crescendo.
I agree with you. I think that I think that to an extent, this has always been a thing that, your institutional level of support would fluctuate based off, how comfortable a fan base felt with a coach and the direction of the program. And, they've got a competent bunch and a really sharp guy running their collective. And, Miami seems to have a rather significant level of support. And I'm sure beating Clemson and I was going to make a comment about Dabo Swinney, but whatever. Miami beating Clemson and getting that victory is going to shore up some institutional support from them as well. And yeah, I think it's 7. We are Florida State 7-0. We're very proud, speaking from a Battle's End perspective, as to the role that we've been able to play and the support that we've been able to give. And for us, our philosophy is always going to start at retention and work its way from there. And we're proud of the guys that were wearing a Florida State jersey last year and the guys that are wearing a Florida State jersey this year too. And so we, we're not new to this space per se, but we're still finding footing and trying to get in front of various aspects of the fan base and those who are passionate about Florida State. And Jeff, I've been fortunate to be a friend of yours for a long time and a listener for even longer. And I'll be blunt about it. 9 years ago, you said Sean McGuire needs your help. I'll be honest with you. The Battle's End needs your help. If you like waking up and being 7-0 and you like being competitive in the modern landscape that is college athletics right now, I would, strongly urge that you give consideration and ultimately join the Battle's End if that's something that you want to partake in. It's a way to, directly get involved in golf and football and sports that you view the most, whatever it is that you view the most important. And we'd love to partner with you in doing that. So yeah, thebattlesend.com. I'm proud of what we've done and how this organization has evolved over time. But, maybe I need to be more direct and more, blunt about things. That's not necessarily my personality, but yeah, we need support. And if you like being 7-0 and you like being ranked anywhere from, 3rd or 5th in the country, depending on where you look and whose metrics you look at, then I would suggest you give us strong consideration. I'll put it that way.
Well, I'll do this, Ingram. I think if I'm a person who doesn't know, and I think there's confusion amongst, and this is all over the country, confusion about what to do as a supporter of your university as an alumnus or just a diehard fan, whatever it might be. Maybe you live in Tallahassee and you just want to support the local team, whatever it is. There's confusion about how best to do that. But I will just tell people, in terms of football and, as you mentioned, golf, look, man, the Battle's End is the best way to do that. Now, you can give to lots of different groups, but you've got to help support the group that is supporting Florida State football. And there is no getting around the fact that it is a constant battle now. Every collective or whatever you would want to describe these groups as are fighting for everybody's dollar, and it can get confusing. So why do I bring this up? Well, I bring it up because I think the thing people want to know is, how transparent is this? Can I learn more? It's not just that I want to give money. I want to know, what am I giving money towards and how does it work? And I would one of the things that I've celebrated about the Battle's End is just how you guys are an open book. You guys have said, look, we're not going to mislead you. We're not going to try to disguise what we're doing. but it's also layered. It's not just that you're getting football players to think about coming to Florida State. It's that you're teaching them and helping them in other ways too. So I guess if folks wanted to know more, I'm a guy. All of a sudden, I want to give $10,000 to the Battle's End. What do I do, Ingram? How do I find out about the questions I want answered?
Sure. No, I would welcome you to, if you want to email info at the Battle's End, or if you want to email me, it's Ingram Smith at the Battle's End. I'd love to talk with anybody out there. We have a tailgate every home game that I'd invite anybody to come to, and you can find out more information about that on our website. Honestly, I mean, I can't facilitate this, but I wish I could, if you were interested, I wish I could give you 5 minutes with some of our players' parents or something like that to hear more about what we do. I'm very proud of what we've done. Some of the support that we've given as far as pairing kids with financial advisors, with financial literacy. This is holistic is a term that gets thrown around a lot and has become a buzzword, but this is not, our intention from day one was never just to be in this space with a large wallet. It was to try to address this in a manner that was as beneficial for player, for the university, and for everybody else that's involved in the ecosystem. So we're not officially aligned with the university in any way, but obviously we can help athletic teams in certain regards, and we can help meet the criteria for competitiveness. And I mean, athletics is the front porch for a lot of universities and stuff like that. So we try to take this very seriously. Our messaging is always, we try to be honest and upfront, and we didn't ask for anybody's money for the first 4 or 5 months. We really just wanted people to judge us and see if we could be a competent entity in this space, which we were always confident we were going to be, but we wanted to provide a track record of support before we started asking for money. And at this point, there's a record out there. You can evaluate it. There are people that consider us the best collective in the country. Whether that's true or not, you can make your own decisions. But we're a plus level collective, if you want to use that term, certainly, and proud of the work that we've done. And we'd love people to join. And like you said, it's not just about a marketing deal. It is about trying to be as good of a assistance and provide as positive an impact on the kids that we work with as we possibly can.
Your original, I remember you saying this to me, and when we were talking about the game plan for the Battle's End, and I was very intrigued. I think all football fans and fans of the sport in general are, because it's all new. And you said, well, early on, Jeff, we're just not asking for money, as you just alluded to. We just want people to watch us put in the work and hopefully earn their trust. I don't know how that couldn't have been earned at this point. That was a 10-win season a year ago, in large part due to roster retention. We're 7-0 this year. People have to understand that this isn't something that just happens in perpetuity. It has to be sustained. And over time, with the wins and the successes on and off the field, and the support that you just mentioned from the players' parents and all the people that have been associated and aligned with the Battle's End, at some point, though, this has to be sustained through membership. It has to be sustained through people's efforts to make sure that Florida State is in a position to battle for all the best players in the country, because the goal here is to win national championships. It's not to be competitive. It's to continue to grow. And that continued growth is hampered if membership, in my opinion, if membership doesn't grow. So that's not you saying that. You said it earlier, but I'll say it again. It seems obvious to me. Hopefully, a confirmation is what I would call this season, right? This is once again emboldening, I think, people to realize, hey, you know what? I forgot, man. Saturday nights at Doak are pretty cool when we're facing a top 20 team and we've got good players. And when we face adversity, like Florida State did last night, credit to Duke, this thing can get turned around, because eventually we wear teams out with the talent that we've been able to sustain and bring in. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's not a question. That's an observation. The battlesend.com does that. I don't know how in the world you wouldn't want to join. And I know that's not your style, but I'm just responding to what you said. I think it's a call for people to understand there are a lot of different levels here, and it's an open book. You don't have to be a guy that makes a ton of money to be able to join the Battle's End. You just need to be a guy that wants to support his team and this collective in any way possible. You can do that with the quarter zip that I just bought from you, Ingram. Look at this right here. It's sitting right there. Just had it delivered over the weekend. You can do it by becoming a monthly contributor. You can do lots of different ways and things to help out the Battle's End.
You absolutely can. And I do love the quarter zip, and I appreciate your unwavering support of said quarter zip. Yeah, absolutely. I do think maybe there's a bit of a perception from some in the fan base because we've had some rather significant successes that maybe we're just sitting on a pile of money. And look, to an extent, we had to be sitting on a pile of money to get this thing off the ground. And we've had a level of support from a select few that I could never articulate correctly as to how important it's been and to the broader positive reverberations and ramifications that that's had. But yeah, if we're going to, one of our two unwavering goals, missions, whatever you want to call them, has been meet the criteria for competitiveness and reach sustainability. And as you said, sustainability is by growing, and it's whether it be memberships, whether it be one-time gifts, whether it be people who have the ability to give at a different capacity than some memberships are, whatever it is. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to tell you, what the case is and our opinion for the Battle's End and how we work with other, entities in this space to try to be the best face possible that we can in this new era of NIL collectives, et cetera. So, yeah, what you said is true. We're proud of what we've done. We're proud of our track record. This is really just a project of 5 or 6 guys who have long been friends. And my philosophy on Florida State has always been that ultimately this school is going to be great in a financial standpoint. When you look at how the admissions and like just when I got to see my mom this weekend, my mom and my aunt and my cousin have all graduated here a long time ago, but they were teachers and they came here because of the dance program. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those just aren't degrees that frequently, facilitate a great amount of ability to earn wealth. But the school has evolved over time. And my long-winded point here is that I've always thought, quote unquote, the cavalry's coming. When I look at my peer group and I look at the kids here now, and I think 5 or 6 of us just looked around last year and thought, well, what if we're the cavalry? What if we're a temporary part of the cavalry? And we've certainly tried to do that and put our best foot forward. And like I said, we're proud of what we've done, but we'd love to continue to grow the base level of support. And this is an area where Florida State can be competitive. That's not dependent upon the ACC. Let me put it that way. Okay. And we would love your support. And there's a window of time here that we can act in a manner that can allow Florida State to be as competitive as possible in the modern era of college athletics. And maybe some of you out there don't love the idea of players getting paid. And I understand that. I would disagree with you, but I certainly understand your opinion, and your opinion is your opinion. What I do think most of your listeners do love is waking up and being 7-0. And I can promise you that what we do is geared towards allowing Mike Norvell, the golf program, anybody that we partner with, to be as competitive as possible.
I'll say this. It's not a matter of an opinion that this is something that the coaching staff or the university wants to embrace. Mike Norvell, I've seen the video, join the Battle's End. He's the head coach is telling people to join the Battle's End. There you go. I don't know what
coach is telling people to join the Battle's End, and he doesn't. I was going to make a Stoops reference there at Kentucky or whatever else, and he's not doing it after a loss. He's doing it when we're 7-0. Okay. So yeah, it is. If you go to SEC media days, these coaches will spend 5 minutes talking about their collectives and stuff. It's not taboo. It's not anything. It's just where we are right now.
It's the landscape, but it's not changing, Ingram. And we know, it's not changing in terms of going back to the time before players were paid. That's not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense. If a coach is making $11 million a year, a player can make whatever he can make off his name, image, likeness. That's the end of the story. It's not difficult. But the beauty here is that we have a group like the Battles In that is competitive in this space and allows Florida State to compete. Now, one thing, whenever I get you on, and I've tried to make you uncomfortable today by being a promotion whore. That's what I did today. But because I know you don't like to do that, but that's what I take on that burden. But here's the thing I'll say. I do always want to ask you, because I'm learning too. And I'm going to have the CEO of the Battles In on. I got to ask him this question. What's coming down the pike in terms of name, image, likeness? What's happening with these collectives? Anything new that we should know about? Because usually when I have you, and maybe there's nothing, but a lot of times when I have you on, you're like, oh, well, I think this is going to change, or maybe in the future this is going to happen next year, or the NCAA is trying to do this. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, it is interesting. Myself and the Battles In team was one of the 6 founding members of this thing called the Collective Association, which is basically an association of collectives. We had our unique individual that is the leader of the Ole Miss Collective testify in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee this week. Walker Jones is a great representation. He's a former player. He's a former executive at Under Armour. He's worked for CAA, which is one of the leading agent companies, I guess, for lack of better phrasing, out there. And I do think that there's some type of political appetite here. I don't know if it's going to fully get over the line. I mean, this is not a political show, but you can just look at Washington, D.C. right now and see some of the dysfunction that's going on. I still have a little bit of skepticism as to whether or not Washington ultimately addresses this. But I do think that there'll be more structure here. I do think that there'll be some guardrails. I think one of the largest misnomers about this space is that collectives just want this to be the wild, wild west. That's not true. I give pushback to that considerably. I don't consider this to be the wild, wild west. We didn't just hire a guy from Deloitte because this is the wild, wild west. No, this is a business. This is this is a serious entity. We're for an agent registry to have a more formal representation process for these kids and to put some benchmarks and barriers. Nothing that's outrageous, but before you're going to represent a kid on a collective deal, you need to hit a certain hurdle. We're open to a lot of things that we think can bring some structure and clarity to this space. I don't think it's the crazy wild world that some people want to present. I think that's a convenient crutch for some who don't want to deal with this, to just paint this as, a bunch of lunatics running around ruining college sports. Ratings and many other things would tell you that nothing could be further from the truth. So this will evolve. This is going to forever be a changing industry, in my opinion, at least as it's in its kind of nascent stage, which it's still in, as we're, 2 years into this. So I can't give you a pure crystal ball, Jeff, as to what's going to go on.
Sure.
But I do think it's going to evolve. I do think you're going to see, structure out there. And that'll be very interesting. I think you're going to further see a separation of maybe not the have and have nots, but just those who wish to play ball at the highest level and those that don't. I don't mean to go on, but I was talking to a program that has been historically very competitive in football. Now, historically means national championships in the 50s, 60s, and maybe a one-off in the more recent era. But they candidly told me they look forward to a separation, and because they think they can be competitive at whatever the second level of college football is. So that's not our world to dictate or whatever else. But I do think that collectives and NIL support is going to further help to distinguish the various maybe hierarchy of college athletics and college football in particular.
Yeah, I think your friend at Georgia Tech is correct.
No, I'm not talking about Georgia Tech, Jeff. I don't know why you would think that.
Ingram Smith, CEO, The Battles In, joined today. TheBattlesIn.com. You see it up there if you're watching on the screen. Learn about the ways that you can help Florida State and the Battles In be successful moving forward. Ingram, I always appreciate it. Be well, man. I'll see you this week.
Appreciate you having me. Great to see you, Jeff. Thank you, man.
Right, take care. Thanks.